Hey everyone. So it's summertime and we have a goat and milk, and I'm milking her and I'm making yogurt and I'm making cheese and we're eating ice cream and we're eating cheeseburgers and all that wonderful stuff that comes with summertime. And you know what? Life is about balance. It really is. And I need to make some caloric room in my diet to so I can continue eating all those yummy things. I'm someone who fluctuates a lot, so I'm kind of hyper aware of, what I'm eating and how much of what I'm eating. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna make a little wiggle room in the diet, and we're gonna do that in the bread. So, spoiler alert, we are not going to change the bread recipe. We're gonna keep it the same. I actually did try, I tinkered around with it. I tried using half of the oil and half of the sugar recipe, and it wasn't as good. It just wasn't the same. So we're not gonna mess with the recipe. The recipe is perfect the way it is. And instead, we're going to shift our focus to the size of the bread. So usually I use the 1.5 pound loaf pans. Well, we're gonna go back to the 1 pound loaf pans. And we're also going to be more consistent with our slicing. We're gonna get consistently small slices. I'm gonna go quickly through this since we're keeping the recipe the same. I'll put a link up here to the original video if you haven't seen it. And it's worthwhile watching that video before you make this bread if you haven't before, because it goes over all the shaping and there's a lot of important steps that you don't want to miss. So without further ado, we're gonna get right into it and we're gonna start putting the dough together. Stay tuned. Be sure to watch to the end of the video because we're gonna go through how much calories each slice is. All right, so in my pot already, I have the 3 cups of water, and then into that just goes 2 tablespoons of yeast. We're gonna go ahead and activate that and give that a couple minutes to get nice and warmed up. All right, so we're gonna do a 1/2 cup of sugar into that and a 1/2 cup of olive oil. And remember, this is gonna be in 3 loaves. And next we're gonna add 8 cups of bread flour. All right, and then next is just the salt. All right, last ingredient, 2 teaspoons of salt. Next, I'm just gonna put this on the mixer until it comes together, usually around 8 minutes. All right, so here it is, all done. I have my bowl oiled up with the same olive oil, and I'm just gonna put it in the bowl and coat it a little bit because it is going to rise up and over the rim of the bowl. Cover it up with a wet cloth and then give it a couple hours. All right, so I actually just got back home it's actually Mother's Day today, so we were at church. But I'm gonna just dump this right out. And for 2 loaves, it's pretty easy. You just cut it right down the middle. With 3, it's a little bit more tricky. I do just still eyeball it. And yeah, that's basically it. So it is still like a rough 1/3 shape, but I don't put much thought into it, and they all turn out pretty much the same. So I'm gonna get these into the loaf pans and I'll check back with you in a second. All right, so we're just gonna let them sit until they rise up a little bit more, probably a couple hours. All right, it's about 2 hours later, and they're ready to go in the oven. I'm gonna put them in for about 40 minutes at 375. All right, so obviously by making 3 loaves instead of 2 really big ones, we've stretched out the recipe lengthwise, and then next what we're gonna do is cut some really consistent slices. And this is how I'm gonna do that. So this is a American bread slicer. It's an American company, American made. And it's got 2 sizes of slots. So it's got these smaller ones over here and then wider ones on this side. And then it basically just has this little plastic thing that slides into the last slot. So you can flip it around depending on what size slices you want. And this isn't sponsored. This is just what we've been using. So obviously we're gonna use the smaller slices because we wanna save as many calories as possible. So it's pretty straightforward. You just go in the next slot and slice down. And you'll see here in a second. So it's a nice little slice. It's very even, and most importantly, it's going to be uniform. So I'll slice this whole loaf, and then I'll tell you how many slices I get out of it at the end. All right, guys, so I got 20 slices out of that loaf. And it doesn't taste like diet anything. It tastes like the same bread that you love. And, you know, the sandwich sizes aren't that different. Like that's a pretty good sized sandwich, you know what I mean? So you're still getting the same flavor, same size sandwich roundabout, and just less calories. So yeah. This is what we've been doing to try to hack our caloric intake for this summer. So let me know what you think, and thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your day.